I'm coming here because I would want to start a series on A Course in Miracles. Course in Miracles is a book that's been so useful to my life in terms of right thinking. Just getting out of me just wanting to be happier in life, wanting to live a more fulfilling life. And using that book, like there was a series of events that led me to A Course in Miracles, which is like, it's a channeled book. It's supposed to be a channeled message from Jesus in getting people back to right thinking, and how you can teach yourself how to change your mindset in order to think from the perspective of truth rather than fear. So truth is unconditional love rather than living from a place of fear. So um it just breaks down how we perceive life, and it's like an undoing of how we think and how we were taught, so that we can get from a place of misery to a place of peace and a place of joy. And I just think now is the perfect time to do that, right? Everything around us is telling us that there's all this doom and gloom in the world, but it's really an illusion. It's really an illusion. We are eternal beings spiritual beings having a physical experience. So we need to stand firm in that. And in order to do that, we need to train our minds to have that right thinking, so that we're not full of fear all the time, no matter what the media is pumping to us, no matter what the results that we see out in the outside world. Like, we're still alive and we're still here. And that means that you have a part in all of this. And if your part can be to bring positive vibrations, bring positivity, bring love, bring unconditional love into the world, why not do that? You know what I'm saying? And if there's a manual out there that's like really, and I know for me, it worked so well for me. And it's like, it's really deep and it's really spiritual. That's why I wanted to do it as a series. There's 3 parts to A Course in Miracles. It's the actual manual, there's the workbook, and then there's the teacher's manual. So the actual manual is telling us about how we think and how we're not thinking in the right manner, and how our mindset needs to be changed in order to come to a place of peace, in order to bring your brothers and your sisters, which are just other people, right, outside of that doom and gloom, and know their worth and know their value, as well as you knowing your worth and knowing your value in the eyes of God, no matter what the physical world is telling you. So in terms of that, I was going to go through just the workbook. And that's like a lesson every day. There's 365 lessons. And they're basically mantras that you repeat to yourself in terms of, that's how we learn, period. We learn through repetition. So since we were born, we were taught how to think and how to behave. And now this manual is teaching us how to do that, and it's teaching us through that same repetition until we see truth for what it is, right? So the 365 lessons, I was just going to go through that. But now I think that I'm going to go through the manual as well, because I listened to the manual about like 6 years ago maybe. I think it was like around 2014, 6 years ago. So 2014. And it was dense. It was a lot. But I loved it. And just to know that there is another way of thinking out there, just to know that we can find peace in ourselves, was so comforting. But I think that when I was listening to that, because it's a book, but it's an audio book on YouTube, so it's available to anybody at any time. So I feel like when I read it back then, when I listened to it back then, it was more like planting seeds, right? And then I lived for 5 years, and now it's coming back to me to like really dive into this deep, because I'm seeing the lessons being played out. And the state of the world that we're in right now, it's like the urgency to get your mind right, and the urgency to live from a place of truth and from a place of peace, and from a place where you're connected to spirit, connected to God, connected to Jesus, whatever. When you're connected, rather than living from a place of fear, feeling like you have to defend yourself in everything you do, and you have to you're living from a place of survival, because we're not in control of our survival to begin with. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we were always in the mindset that we're in control because of the way we live our day-to-day lives. But that's really an illusion. That's an illusion. Anything can happen at any time. So it's just amplified that we need to trust the power in us, the power of God in us, and trust that we can think in a manner and we can behave in a manner, we can live in a manner that is filled with peace and love no matter what's going on around us. So that's what I wanted to start. I'm going to start with the manual. This is just the first video, so that I'm just, inviting people to join if they want to join, and comment on what I say in the videos. What is your perspective on the lessons that we go through, the type of content I'm bringing to the videos, so please participate. If you're compelled to, please participate, because this is not about one person. This is about spreading positivity, spreading love to the world at a time where we really, really need it, at a time where everybody is kind of a little off their rocker because of what's going on in the world right now. So come through. Come through. Join the conversation, okay?